You've got to be the change you want to see. I hope you try to do that in some kind of way every day. I want to welcome my guest here today. They are part of First Hour Grief Response. It is exactly what it sounds like. Lisa Schardein, Executive Director and co-founder. Karen Buchanan, Development Director and co-founder. And Leila Smith, who received support after losing her son 3 years ago. This is difficult. We all find ourselves at some point or another in this situation. Talk about how you got started, Lisa and Karen.
Well, I lost my husband to suicide in my home on a beautiful Sunday. And the day after my 51st birthday, he took his life with a gun in our shower, and I had to break in with 911 on the phone with me. And it was through that process of about an hour that I realized, sitting alone on that couch shaking, that I needed to help the next suicide survivor that's coming up behind me. And I didn't know what that looked like. I had no idea what I was going to do about that, and I had to start healing to help others. And in 2015, I met Lisa through mutual friends, and then in 2017, she emailed me and said, let's get this dream going. And in 2018, we became a 501c3, and we opened up a new cute little white house a week before COVID hit. So we have closed it down, and we're back into, during COVID, and now we're back into opening up under CDC guidelines.
All right, well, for you, Lisa, again, this was something that was very important to you. What happened in your life that made you decide what Karen was trying to do was something that was needed?
Well, I lost my son, Ben, just a month after Karen's loss, actually. He was just 20 years old and was hit head-on by a drunk driver in 2011, June 2011. And so, you know, I knew I needed help right away. And so I sought out other women that had lost children, and also started attending grief support groups to try to figure out what this journey was going to be like. And after a few years and coming to that point of acceptance, I realized that I really wanted to help other people on this journey. And so I started leading support groups throughout the city. And when Karen and I got together again, we decided we also needed to have a safe place for people to come to, because not everyone wants to go to a coffee shop or a restaurant to talk about how they're doing. And so we have this very warm and welcoming environment where people can come and talk about, you know, some of the challenges they're dealing with. Grief is just such a roller coaster that you just don't know from day to day how you're going to be feeling. And it's really awesome when you can come alongside somebody and say, yes, I've been there, I know what you're going through, and here's what helped me. So today happens to be Ben's 29th birthday.
Yes,
I brought
and
a picture
that's
of
him there.
Yep, that's him there. And you know, I choose on a day like today to really think about the good memories. And but there are a lot of tough dates along this road, and you really don't ever heal from grief. You just learn how to live with it.
I was going to say that because you see arguments, well, you see arguments on Facebook. I was going to say you try to stay off Facebook, but you always end up there, about people who say, you know, well, that was 5 years ago. You need to move on with your life. Everyone grieves differently, and I'm not sure even if you do move on with your life, you let that go still.
Nope, it never ends. Grief is never ending, and we're always trying to figure out ways to continue to keep our loved ones alive. We love to hear their name. We love to hear them brought up at different times of the year, especially holidays.
I think some people are afraid to do that, though. Yeah, they don't want to say the name because, uh-oh, you know, we just talked about something that was really hurtful. Nobody say the name, you know. That I feel like that's what we do, especially with parents that have lost a child or something. It's like, shh, don't say, nobody say anything.
Right.
But you say it's better to hear their names.
Really do want to talk about our children and continue to keep their memory alive. So I encourage people to bring it up and just listen. You don't really have to have the right words to help somebody. Just be a good listener and walk with them down this journey. But we want to keep our children's memories alive and our loved ones.
Leila, how did you come to First Hour Grief Response, and how did they help you?
They helped me tremendously. My son was diagnosed with cardiomyopathy at the age of 23. He went on to have some procedures done, and he ended up with MRSA, okay, and he died. It was pretty hard for me. I was his caregiver, and after his death, I was devastated for a long time. And my daughters brought me to Southeast Christian Church and to their grief ministry, where I went on to meet Lisa, and she began to share with me about the different stages of grief, and as far as my grief was concerned, that it was okay, and whatever it was I was feeling was okay. And it gave me the freedom to go through the grief and still heal. I feel that after you go through something very hard as losing a child, it's like you have a broken heart that just doesn't mend, you know, and I would always describe it as a vase. When that vase gets broken, you may put it back together, but it's never the same. And such is our lives now. It's never the same, but we're here and we're learning to live and to move on.
There are people that need your services. I know the first meeting is free. You guys bought that wonderful house at 409 Marquette Drive. You can also go to firsthourgrief.org. But how does someone get your help, and what can the community do to help you?
Well, you can reach out via the Contact Us form on our website at firsthourgrief.org. You can also call us. We respond within just a few hours typically. And we would love to meet with you one-on-one. Again, the first meeting is free, and after that it's a $50 program service fee. But if you can't afford to pay, we don't ever turn anyone away. We also have some other programs that we do throughout the city. We offer a lot of grief support even through Zoom. Of course, with COVID, we have to have that technology to be able to reach people. We're starting an art therapy program in September, and so that's going to be another way to get some coping strategies to learn how to live with your loss. So just call us. I know that there are a lot of people out there hurting, and we want to walk alongside you. Grief is isolating enough, and to be isolated with COVID, this is a really tough environment for people.
Yeah, we thank you for what you do. We really do. And I know that more people will use your services. Thank you. You hate that they have to.
Appreciate it.
All right.